So today I want to talk about mana. Now it's actually a really obscure topic, and a lot of the knowledge roots all the way back to ancient Lemuria. It's a species of highly evolved psychic humans, and they're referenced as gods, star travelers, because of the types of energy that they used. So mana is an ancient secret, basically. A way to harness energy within the body and perform casting. So I'll talk a little bit about it here. Now, I've been a psychic energy user for about 8 years, but I really only got into mana casting within the last 4 years. And there's a lot of different ways to develop the technique, and it's progressive. So the more time that you put into energy work and generating the psychic energy body in terms of the volume and capacity that you can cast, the more productive it's going to be. But the main disclaimer I want to start with is once you start changing parts of the body, it's an evolution, and a lot of times it's irreversible. So, for example, if you develop the mana circuitry within the brain, you're going to have it for the rest of your life. So it's something that you have to maintain, continually upkeep, but that blueprint and map, kind of like learning how to walk for the first time, is always going to be with you. So you don't need crystals to activate mana, but they do assist in the volume aspect of how you control your energy usage. So describing a little bit how I performed my evolution, what I did is initially started out with a double amethyst sphere in the left and right hand. And those are kind of your prop tools to develop the globules within the body. And traditionally you see the left hand side has a life kind of red substance and the right kind of has a blue energy magic substance. That's not necessary for every evolution, and you can customize it. So like I was saying, I performed it with orbs in the left and right hand, but both are purple. So my specific evolution gave me mana sphere globules on the left side and the right side. And I actually highly recommend it. It's actually kind of the easiest way to develop them because you can always recharge with the crystals that are in your hands. So my second word of caution is, again, veganism. You have to really watch what kinds of foods you're putting into your body because that's going to change what types of energy power that you develop with the psychic body. So monoglobule charging, you really want to look at it as a type of fermentation, really, because what you're doing is you're casting energy directly into your kidneys, you're flexing the kidney, you're hydrating it with water, and then over time what you're doing is you're creating a circuitry. Now, it also requires a bit of exercise, so I always recommend either get a walking routine, jogging routine even, or bike. I learned to do it on bike just because it was the most convenient and you get a lot of speed out of it. So the prerequisite is essentially you need to be able to cast with the hand. As I showed in one of the previous videos, you're reaching into the center of a crystal, you're holding it for a long period of time, and you're able to get a beam of energy. You can do it with any object. It doesn't even have to be a crystal, but crystals are a great medium. So say if you put a piece of amethyst out in front of you and you want to just practice for, 10, 15 minutes a day, sending a beam of energy from your hand directly to the crystal and just kind of keeping that charge going, keep it consistent, and feel and experience the visualization of the energy going from the tips of the finger directly to the crystal. So once you have that part down, it's really about a consciousness of flexing. So if you go into the kind of backside where the kidney is located, you want to focus your consciousness on it and be able to do the exact same thing. You're kind of picking up as if you had your mental psychic hand reaching into the kidney and holding that position and just kind of brushing it lightly. So you'll practice that same activity for maybe 10, 15 minutes a day until you get a good firm foundation on reaching in, grabbing and activating the left kidney and the right kidney intermediately. Another technique I recommend is actually using the torus yantra, and that's something really good to keep around. Anytime that you want to generate spin velocity, meditating on a Taurus yantra is really going to help you out in that sense. So if you're not spinning a psi wheel, get yourself a picture of a Taurus yantra, put it up on a screen or a map or on your phone or on a wall or something like that. So when you're activating your kidney, you want to add friction to it, motion. So if you visualize the Taurus yantra getting a high speed, high RPM, maybe 1,000 RPMs, place that same visualization onto the kidney area to stimulate it, to get a lot of friction energy so that you're driving the psychic brain centers to activate specifically those parts of the body. So once you have that part down, then we need to start adding energy to it. So again, you're going to take that same cast technique, and it's a combination. What you're going to do is flex the kidney or spin it with that same Taurus yantra motion that you have. And simultaneously, you're going to take your hand and you're going to cast energy directly into the region continuously, exactly like we were talking about with the crystal, where you're casting a beam and keeping it continuous. You're going to flex the kidney and continuously cast a beam into that region until it stimulates with chakra chi or mana energy. So that's the fermentation process. You're just going to continue that process, casting with the hand, charging and flexing the kidney, and it takes a bit of time. It can actually take years of work, and depending on how much you're exercising your mana casting ability is going to determine your capacity for it. So if you're going into higher chakra psychics and you want to do lots of energy casting, you definitely do want to have crystals around. So again, amethyst is your go-to for balanced chakra psychics. If you're going to go ahead and just grab that, it's going to create the purple energy beam as you're casting, and that's going to be kind of your final. If you really want to have the best capacity to your mana globules, getting purple in there is really your best choice. So charge them up until you visualize and can see that every time you're casting with your hand, you're building a layer onto a kind of an electric charge, and it's kind of like a liquidy charge, and you just keep hydrating. Now, once you have that activity down, you can go ahead and add it back into your casting. So what you're doing is you're flexing the kidney region or that globule that's formed now as you're doing your energy casting. So that's really the fun part, the technicals. Once you have the globules developed and you can visualize them, and usually when you go out in the daylight, they'll immediately start charging with energy, and you can just perform that same activity where you flex the kidney, charge it for a couple minutes with your hand or with the crystal, and it'll just be glowing bright colors. So using the globule is quite a bit of a technique. So you can cast with the hand and then kind of work different parts of it. So say if you want to get a spin on it, you'll work on say if I'm using the left globule on the kidney and I go towards the inside part of it, you just gently activate it with your brain as you're casting. It'll kind of give you a counterclockwise spin. If you go towards the outside, the left side of the left kidney, and activate it just the left side, it'll kind of give you a clockwise spin. So you can go at the globule from the underside, you can go from the top. You can also just reach in, grab a handful of the liquidy substance with your psychic brain centers with your hand, and just toss it, and it'll light up right in front of you and just start casting the energy beam. So comment. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them, and thank you for your time. Happy mana casting.